So today, guys, we're going to be talking about Ning, who I believe is one of the best characters you can have inside of Genshin. She has carried me throughout the abyss. She is one of my highest damage dealers. And yeah, she's a Geo champ, which I know a lot of us might not have that much experience with. A lot of us kind of overlook Geo because it doesn't really have any elemental reactions. There's no combinations you can do with Geo, but Geo offers a lot. To me, I think it's one of the best in regards to tanking. It has kept me alive multiple times due to elemental shards that drop, and Ning here really takes advantage, especially on the higher levels. She really takes advantage of this alongside having some fantastic damage. So first up, let's just go over what Ning does. She's got a normal attack where she shoots gems that deal Geo damage upon hit. This grants Ning 1-star jade, and you actually see this surrounding her, and you can collect up to 3 of those little shards, those little star jades, which actually allows us here to charge like a supercharge attack. Now, something to take note of, that supercharge attack, or just a charge attack in general, does still burn off stamina, but when combined with those 3 1-star jades, this does increase the damage quite nicely. Now, her E ability is a jade screen. Ning actually drops a jade screen out of gold, obsidian, and her great opulence, dealing AoE Geo damage. And fellas, it's a lot of damage. I mean, it's a whopper. Now, the jade screen actually serves a couple purposes. Number 1, it blocks enemy projectiles, which is extremely nice. Number 2, the endurance scales based on Ning's max HP. So keep that in mind while you are speccing for attack and other things. And we'll go over artifacts in just a second. Consider also speccing for HP. Now, something to keep in mind, only 1 jade screen may exist at any one time. Now, her ultimate ability or Q ability is Star Shatter. Gathering a great number of gems, Ning scatters them all at once, sending homing projectiles at her enemies that deal massive Geo damage. If Star Shatter is cast when a jade screen is nearby, the jade screen will fire additional gem projectiles at the same time. So you really want to take advantage of utilizing both your jade screen, Star Shatter all together to get the most out of it, especially when we start looking at some of these other talents. First up, her passive talent. When Ning is in possession of Star Jades, her charge attack does not consume stamina. This is extremely important. You really don't want to be utilizing your charge attacks at all unless you have at least 1 jade on you. Her strategic reserve, which I think is what, the 4th ascension that this actually unlocks. This is a huge one. The character that passes through the jade screen will also gain a 12% Geo damage bonus for 10 seconds. Now, this also applies to other Geo characters you may want to double stack with her. You want to go a Noelle Ning combo, go right ahead. You both can take advantage of that increase in Geo damage when passing through your jade screens. And again, all of this is extremely important if you're combining jade screens, Star Shatter, charge attacks with those jade crystals. Every bit of that is just working off of each other, putting out massive amounts of damage. Now, her constellation, this might be the most important aspect to getting the most out of Ning. Like, I would say Ning is decent even without the first constellation, but it's not until you get that first constellation that it's like, oh man, this is nasty. First up, normal attacks causes AoE damage. That's a big one. Just your basic normal attacks. And you probably see me here rapid firing my normal attacks. If you actually move while you're shooting, just keep pressing a move button. If you're on a joystick, just keep moving in whatever direction. I just like to sit there and go WASD over and over and over. This actually cancels the animation, allowing me to attack even faster with our normal attack. I'm sure this is something that Mahoya will eventually patch, but for now, this is a great way to really increase your DPS with Ning. Now, our second constellation, this actually involves our Jade Screen. Jade Screen is shattered. Its cooldown will reset and can occur every 6 seconds. Now, the Jade Screen is no joke, guys. It does a lot of damage. So the fact that this resets and can occur every 6 seconds, you almost want it to shatter and keep popping these Jade Screen on those enemies. And again, you want to kind of pop them on the enemies and then walk into the Jade Screen to take advantage of that extra Geo damage. But popping on the enemies throws the enemies back, stuns them, does a ginormous amount of damage. It's beautiful. Now, her third constellation allows for an increase in the level of Star Shatter by 3. Her 4th and 5th and 6th I do not have, but essentially Jade Screen increases nearby characters' elemental resistance by 10%. So you gain even more tankiness. Constellation level 5 increases the level of Jade Screen by 3. And then the 6th and final constellation, when Star Shatter is used, Ning actually gains 7-star Jades. Now, that final constellation, I have not seen. It seems a little crazy considering that, at least to my knowledge, with 3 Jades around her, or 3 attacks, you get those 3 Jades. And I'm assuming that just counts for 3 jades. So the fact that you get 7, I just don't know how much damage we're going to be. I mean, it sounds crazy. It really does. Sounds crazy. A maxed out Constellation Ning probably has just incredible, unimaginable artillery. As you can already tell, I'm quite passionate about Ning. Ning is my favorite. I've had a lot of characters in this game I really like, but Ning is just so unique to me, which actually takes us to the artifacts. Now we're taking advantage of these artifacts, most notably the Archaic Petra set. Now the Archaic Petra set actually drops from the domain of Gwyn. I believe it's pronounced that Gwyn, but essentially just holding 2 of these artifacts will net us a 15% increase there in geo damage. Considering that there is no physical damage taking place here with Ning, she's just constantly pooping out these geo rocks. We 100% want to take advantage of the 15% increase there in geo damage bonus. On my set, I actually have the Flower of Crevice Cliff for that increase in HP, energy recharge, and again, you want that HP because our Jade Screen actually scales off of that. We also have the Feather of Jagged Peaks, giving us a bump there in attack, energy recharge, crit rate, etc. Now, the other set that we have, we are taking advantage of the Berserker Timepiece for that bump there in attack, combined with a Berserker's Bone Goblet, which also boosts our attack. And again, this is a 2-piece set, ramping up our crit rate by 12%. Simultaneously, our final artifact is an Instructor's Cap, which boosts our crit rates. All of these are really interchangeable except for the Archaic Petra set. Really, you just need 2. You don't even do the 4-piece. The 4-piece does allow for more tankiness, which is nice, but we're really just trying to just overcommit here to damage, especially considering we have the first Constellation of Ning unlocked. Now, the weapon of choice. I wouldn't necessarily say this is the weapon. There's supposed to be a new weapon coming out this week with a new banner, and I'm hearing that's going to be the better weapon for Ning. This one is not bad. It does boost our attack quite significantly. It is a 5-star weapon. It's the Skyward Atlas. It says increases elemental damage bonus by 12%. Normal attack hits have a 50% chance to earn the favor of the clouds, which actively seek out nearby enemies and attacks for 15 seconds, dealing 160% attack damage. Actually pretty nice in terms of spreading out more damage, considering everything here is like artillery. This is something that just gives you a little more heat, popping some damage, and you'll see it there. It's like a little orb that chills with you and will actually stay with you even when you swap to other characters. Again, though, I am excited to see what the new book's going to be this week because supposedly it's going to be better for Ning. Now, moving on to our actual details. Our crit rate, from the look of it, seemed like it was going to be incredibly high, but we're still barely, or not even at 50%. Close. Attack is decent as well, and again, taking advantage of the increase in geo damage bonus at 39%. Hands down, guys, Ning is a monster. Even despite her attack might not looking that impressive, that Archaic Petra set, combined with everything else that's going on here with our constellations, this can hands down be a character that can carry you. Now, in terms of team synergy, man, that's always a tough one because everyone always asks, hey, what's the best teams? What are the best teams? There really is no answer to that, especially in things like Abyss, because it changes. It changes completely on the encounter. I do want to bring up some teams, though, that I really do like to take advantage of with Ning, especially on like things like Floor 9, as I'm still kind of under-leveled. So I actually take advantage of Enduring Rock. Is one of the elemental resonance here. It increases resistance to interruption. Also, when protected by a shield, you gain an increase in attack damage by 15%. Now, as you notice, there's no better character to pair this with than our dear old Noelle. Now, Noelle here is still very much underleveled. I've got to level her up. I don't know about you guys, man. I am just depleted of resources constantly. And one day we'll have a video on just Noelle because I actually farmed out the Retracing Bolide set, which is disgusting. But she comes with an E ability called Breastplate, which actually applies a shield that can transfer to your other characters in your party, thus allowing us here to take advantage of that damage bonus on Ning. It's fantastic. It also allows me to tank content that I normally would get one banged in. So guys, that is our Ning breakdown. Again, one of my favorite characters in the game. She's Geo, and I know a lot of people don't want to dabble in Geo. Everyone wants to take advantage of Electro Charge or Superconduct or all those elemental combos that seem extremely fancy. To me though, Geo with Crystallize adds a level of tankiness to those various different elements, which gives me the freedom to just purely spec and attack. And I know some people are like, shouldn't you do that anyways? But there's some content, you gotta have some defense, or you're just gonna get one banged over and over again. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.